know it is in the news that Eric Bischoff and Paul Heyman are going to be executive directors to SmackDown and Raw going forward. Paul Heyman a little bit more yes than Eric Bischoff, as it has come out that Eric Bischoff's first official night as being the person ahead of SmackDown is going to be the SmackDown after the Extreme Rules pay-per-view, which is in 2 weeks. This was not a bad show. This was way better outside the first segment, because that first segment was absolutely awful. And they seem to turn Kevin Owens babyface again. He came back from his long time off with his knees, I believe, as a babyface. They gave him the stunner to try and get him over as a babyface, had him join the New Day, and then turned him heel. And now they're just showing that the only reason they turned him heel is because they needed somebody to face Kofi Kingston at Money in the Bank, and they didn't know if Daniel Bryan was going to be back in time, even though Daniel Bryan was back in time. But this show was not bad. We have, like I said, outside of that first segment was just all over the place. Shane McMahon has got to be taken off TV. I don't care what they do. At Extreme Rules, it's going to be a no-holds-barred match. They need to do whatever they can to write Shane McMahon off TV and get him off TV for at least 6 to 8 months. This guy has been stifling talent. This guy has been ruining TV, and I don't know what else to say. This show to me would have felt a little bit better had Shane not been on this show. Had the Shane and Drew McIntyre part of the show not shown up at all, and they had the rest of the show, and I'm like, this is a great show. This was awesome. This was probably one of the best SmackDowns in a while. That just goes, it was from here, and it just, Shane and then bring it down to about here. It should be a lot better in my opinion, but Shane McMahon put 20 minutes of television time. Yet, there was no follow-up to Kairi Sane and Asuka beating the Women's Tag Team Champions in Tokyo last weekend, because they're supposed to be the tag team title match for those women's tag team titles. There was no follow-up. Why was there no fucking follow-up to that? I don't know. Apollo Crews and Andrade had a match. A pointless match, but they had a match tonight. Where has Finn Balor been? Where has the Intercontinental Champion been since Stomping Grounds? Since Super Showdown. My bad, Super Showdown. He wasn't even on Stomping Grounds. Where has he been? See this guy over here? He has the second most prestigious title in WWE, and he has not been seen on main roster television outside of the week after Stomping Grounds when Shinsuke Nakamura came over, touched the championship, and walked away. Where the fuck is the follow-up to that? We haven't seen that either. No Roman Reigns again. This guy has been off TV for the last couple of weeks. Hobbs and Shaw just came out, so that's why he hasn't been on TV. No Charlotte Flair, even though Andrade was on TV this week. I don't know what she's been up to. Maybe because she's not in the Women's Championship title picture right now, they kept her off TV. You had Nikki Cross hosting the Moment of Bliss. I don't know why they went with that. I guess they didn't want Alexa Bliss and Bayley on the Moment of Bliss 3 weeks in a row. Again, no follow-up to the I can't say that name, I can't. The Kairi Sane and Asuka team, who were going to Japan this past weekend, to face off against the Idiotics, for if they won, they would get a shot at the tag team titles at a later time. We don't know when that's going to be, and there was no follow-up. I figured you would have had Kairi Sane and Asuka, if anything, the Idiotics and Paige on TV to let us know what is going to happen. That did not happen. They were in the AT&T Center from San Antonio, Texas. This show, again, started off with Shane McMahon. They did highlight what happened with Braun Strowman and Bobby Lashley on last night's show. They showed us a replay. And they said we'll hear from Lashley later tonight. Braun Strowman could have a couple of fractures and a ruptured spleen. Give me a fucking break. That is bullshit, and we all know it. They went through an LED board and just fell over. That was it. If he fractured something, Braun Strowman has to have some of the weakest fucking bones in human history. Ruptured spleen, maybe, but not the bones. Sorry. Fans boo Owens, who takes the mic and introduces tonight's guests, Shane McMahon and Drew McIntyre. Owens is in a bad mood tonight as he reads off some cards. Shane is out first as the music hits. Drew McIntyre is out next, and Shane says, that introduction you gave me, that just wasn't up to par. So, Hamilton, come on, let's get this over with. and he gives him the grand introduction, which, in my opinion, well, if Shane McMahon's going to be on Raw and SmackDown, he takes Hamilton with him everywhere. Mike Rowe can't even come close to Hamilton's the best in the world, which I hope is over soon. But until it's over, Hamilton should be like Shane's Ricardo Rodriguez, giving him his introduction. They talk about the tag team match and Extreme Rules against Roman Reigns and The Undertaker. We see replays of Taker. We see some replays. Basically what happens here is, for whatever reason, they talk about this thing, and Kevin Owens brings up the fact that they seem to be scared of The Undertaker. He's like, I want to see one more portion of this back. And they go back to where The Undertaker was coming out, and Drew McIntyre and Shane McMahon were leaving. He's being a real big babyface in this segment. In the match, of course, will be no holds barred. It was funny because Kevin Owens was trying to explain what he was doing. It's like, it's just a reaction. It's like, gong, lights go down, like, I'm out of here. And then you're like, oh, well, I'm not scared of The Undertaker. Making fun of Drew McIntyre and Shane McMahon. Dolph Ziggler comes out. Owens is like, Dolph, save it. I know you don't need to come out here and tell us it should have been you, it should have been you, it should have been me. It was you 8 years ago, but it was, then it wasn't, and it hasn't. Just get over it. So the crowd pops huge for that. So again, it looks like Kevin Owens is a babyface again. 2 months ago, this guy turned heel to take on the WWE champion, heel with his best friend, and then last week they broke up Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, which we haven't seen Sami Zayn since, as Kevin Owens abandoned Sami Zayn, and that was that. They get into a shouting match, and they want to know who's going to be the next contender for the WWE Championship past Samoa Joe. And Shane McMahon's like, neither one of you. You're going to be in a tag team match with Heavy Machinery later in the main event. The winner will be inserted into the tag team title opportunity between the New Day and Daniel Bryan and Rowan at Extreme Rules. Taylor Braxton stops Daniel Bryan and Rowan backstage. Bryan isn't happy about the other teams being added to the match, but they're confident about walking in and out as the planet's champions, and we go to commercial break. You know, they never got the so-friendly titles, so I don't know if they're going to keep them past that. Daniel Bryan versus Big E came back, and Caleb Braxton was backstage with the New Day, Big E and Xavier Woods. They're not happy about but also not worried about another team being added to the match. Extreme Rules. Big E does its introduction and goes to the ring. We have ourselves a nice little match here. Big E ends up losing as Rowe rolls, while the referee is distracted by Daniel Bryan. Rowe tosses Big E into the ring post, throws him back inside. Rowe also then, Woods leaps off the steps. Rowe knocks him, takes him out. Bryan covers Big E for the 1, 2, 3. Daniel Bryan ends up winning a match that I hate this. I really hate this. When it's like, oh, we have a tag team match coming up at a pay-per-view. Let's have one of each member face each other in a singles match. Even though the champions and the challengers should not be losing going into a title match. Look at Hangman Page at Fyter Fest. He is going to be facing Chris Jericho at All Out. He went into a fatal 4-way and walked out the winner. He's going to be facing Cape Sabian in 2 weeks. And I guarantee you, he's walking out the winner because you don't want somebody who's challenging for a championship to look weak. Sebastian's backstage with R-Truth. He doesn't want to hear about highlights from the 24/7 title loss to Drake Maverick on Raw, but we see them anyway. And Caleb Braxton was like, "We're gonna show you what happened last time." He's like, "No, we don't have to do that." And Caleb just, what is up with them, making Caleb Braxton seem like a fucking bitch? Caleb Braxton this week, Charlie Cruz, I believe, last week. It's like, what's with having these women come off as bitches when they're interviewing somebody? It's just really weird. He says Hornswoggle and his wife are on their honeymoon here in San Antonio. Why would you go to San Antonio for your honeymoon? Is beyond me. He's coming for his 7-11 European Championship. Who gives a shit? Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross are backstage. Bliss says Cross is going to host a Moment of Bliss. She says Cross deserves it because she defeated Carmella and Bayley. Bliss encourages Cross and says some more and says it's time for Bliss to kick Cross out of the nest and Cross will fly. Cross walks off, her guest will be Bayley as we go to commercial break. So I'm like, this is the third week in a row the Moment of Bliss hosts Bayley. Well, if it's not the third week in a row, it's the third time we've had a Moment of Bliss on SmackDown that Bayley is the superstar opposite of the host. It's like, why? I know Alexa Bliss is going to be wrestling Bayley at Extreme Rules. You can do it other ways. You don't need to do a Moment of Bliss segment. Nikki Cross comes out. She brings out Bayley. They have back and forth words with each other. Bayley wants to talk about what wasn't fair. Cross beating Bayley last week and Bliss getting the title shot at Extreme Rules. Bayley says Cross should be getting the title shot, and Cross doesn't know the answer, but she wants to know why she's not facing Bayley in the ring right now, and Bayley accepts the challenge. So we get a match between Nikki Cross and Bayley. We get about a 2-minute match, and Bayley ends up hitting a Bayley to belly out of nowhere for the 1, 2, 3. After the match, Bayley stands tall as the music hits. Nikki Cross is distraught and pissed that she could not beat Bayley again. 50-50 booking. God, I said this on Twitter too. I miss NXT Nikki Cross. I know it's not NXT anymore. Nikki Cross, as everyone else coming up from the main roster, is a shell of the former self. Nikki Cross in NXT was a loner after Damn Sanity came up. She was crazy. She was unhinged. This one is subdued, and unless she's in the ring, she is just not Nikki Cross that we should know and that we know and loved in NXT. I missed NXT Nikki Cross. She would not take any shit from nobody. She wouldn't trust anybody. You have this Nikki Cross. Ali, I don't know where they're going with this Ali thing, but Ali talks about why he wants to chase the WWE title, not for the same reasons as those who want the money. He's chasing the title because he wants to bring change to millions of people who were forced to believe a lie about where they're from and what their name defines them. Ali says he's going to be the one change that will be that way of thinking, and if you believe the lie, he's going to change your mind. He's going to become WWE champion. Goes about changing and chasing. He says, you let the chase continue, let the lies be exposed, and let the change begin. So, I don't know. It's great to see that he has his priorities straight, that he wants to be WWE champion. He should be right here where Kofi Kingston is as WWE champion. A concussion took him out of that match. A concussion derailed him. But now, he wants to be WWE champion. I like that they're going with that. I just don't know how they're going to do this with these promos. It's just last week they had him walking around looking like he's going to be a superhero when two guys are bullying a nerd, when a relationship is going bad and a guy is looking to strike his woman. It looked bad. It looked like he was trying to be a superhero this week he's talking about just wanting to change everyone's mind. So I have no idea what they're doing. It's going to be interesting. I am intrigued to see what they do with Ali because he does have his priorities straight. He's like, I should have been where Kofi is. I'm going for the WWE title, but I'm going to do it my way. So I can't wait to see what they do with Ali. That's a positive thing right there. Sarah Braxton's in the ring. She plugs the WWE title match at Extreme Rules and introduced Kofi Kingston and Samoa Joe. So this was interesting. The biggest thing coming out of this was that Samoa Joe wanted Kofi Kingston to shake his hand. Kofi Kingston called Joe Jealous Joe, because Joe will never have a WrestleMania moment like Kofi did to share with his kids. Of course, Joe attacked the kids of Kofi Kingston, saying, Kofi says right on cue, Joe insulted his family after at the WWE at WrestleMania. He's like, come on, son, get up there, hold the championship up, make sure to be wearing dad's shirt so you can be like fooling these idiots out here to think that you actually care about them. Joe wants to do a little experiment to prove to people what Kofi really is. Joe says it's simple. He wants Kofi to shake his hand to recognize that when he put Kofi to sleep over the past few weeks, he realized that Joe is the next WWE champion. Joe says here's what he will guarantee Kofi for this gesture. He guarantees the safety of Kofi and the ones he loves up until Extreme Rules, and all Kofi has to do is shake his hand. He extends his hand and encourages Kofi, calling it a legit offer. Kofi won't shake. Joe threatens to start slapping around if you don't get to, and he says tick-tock. Joe stares Kofi down, but Kofi responds with a smile on his face. So, pissed as fuck, Kofi then drops Joe with the Trouble in Paradise, laying Joe out in the middle of the ring. Kofi stands tall and raises the WWE title over Joe's head. His What's up? Fucking awesome segment. See, this is another thing of why this show was good to me is because this segment was fucking awesome. And Kofi, like, I'm not shaking your hand. Have a bird, though. That was awesome. Joe's not winning the WWE Championship. Let's just get that out the way. He's not winning it. Let's move on. Heavy Machinery in the back getting hyped about the possible spot at the Extreme Rules. They have respect for Kevin Owens and Dolph Ziggler, but they're not brothers like Heavy Machinery, and they will be implode tonight. Tucker says Heavy Machinery will take care of the business. Otis talks about winning the SmackDown Tag Team titles and says they're coming. Apollo Crews walking backstage, and right behind Apollo Crews, I believe it was Abby the Witch on this side. He'll face Andrade next. Back from break, Tom shows us what happened on with Braun Strowman again because beat over your fucking head over and over and over again until it's just in your mind that, wow, this was a bad thing. Lashley, who said, we cut the Twitter video from Lashley, who says that what Strowman did to him last night on Raw wasn't wrestling. Lashley says Strowman knew what he was doing and didn't care, but Lashley was only left with some bruises and beaten up a little bit. Lashley says Strowman tried to kill him, but Strowman ended up getting the worst of it as he should and he deserved. Lashley goes on and says the next time he sees that son of a bitch, he's going to not try to send him back to the hospital, he's going to send him to the morgue. A little dark and brooding there, aren't you, Lashley? I don't care about Bobby Lashley versus Braun Strowman. I have never or will ever care about Bobby Lashley versus Braun Strowman. Period. Go right to the ring, and this match is already underway as we have Apollo Crews versus Andrade Cien Almas. Both men get a jobber entrance, so shows how much WWE really cares about Andrade Cien Almas and Apollo Crews. This match was about 4 or 5 minutes. Crews ends up throwing Andrade into the ring, and Zelina Vega with a running across Hurricanrana into the announce table. Brian gets put in the middle of the Crews gets put in the middle of the ring. Hammerlock DDT 1, 2, 3, and Andrade Cien Almas wins the match. Owens and Dolph Ziggler backstage. Owens says there's a little chance that this will work unless they have a game plan, which he has. Owens says Ziggler should just stay on the side, look pretty, and let Owens get the job done. Ziggler tells Owens to stay away from the hot dogs, which of course we have to have fat jokes. Because, yeah, Owens isn't your, beastly man. He's got a little bit of a gut, so we have to make fat jokes. I mentioned hot dogs at the beginning of the show, too, but it is what it is. Ziggler says, he should do what he does best and steal the show to get the job done. Owens admits they both haven't had the best records on their own since coming back, but maybe Shane was right and they should team up to get the win. Ziggler hesitates before said he's done worse. They barely get on the same page to end the segment. Who cares? Moon is backstage and getting a good look from Carmella. She walks off to the ring as we go to commercial break. Why, if she's going off to face Mandy Rose with Sonya Deville by Mandy Rose's side, and Carmella's had that problem too, why is Carmella not in her corner? 24/7 joke is on Drake Maverick right now, and I don't know why you wouldn't just have her out there. Back from break, and Aleister Black is backstage and says he had a knock on his door last week, but when he went to answer it, no one was there. Black applauds the Mystery Locker and aren't only fighting on a physical level now, but fighting on a spiritual plane as well. Black says he cares little for the reveal of the person. He only cares that the person shows up at Extreme Rules because they shall fight in the heavens, they shall fight in the 7 layers of hell, and if they meet in purgatory fighting, they shall. Black says he finds himself invigorated because the Mystery Man is man enough to knock on his door, then he should reveal who they are at Extreme Rules as the person who had picked the fight with Black. You're gonna make me wait 2 more weeks. I think it's 2 more Sunday? Is it 1 more week? Is it 1 more or 2 more? 2 more SmackDowns or 1 more SmackDown? 1 more SmackDown? Yeah, you're gonna make me wait 2 weeks from Sunday. A week from Sunday, whatever. A week from Sunday to find out who knocked on Aleister Black's door. You couldn't have the reveal this week, really? It's the word going on is it's supposed to be Cesaro. I hope it's Buddy Murphy to give Buddy Murphy something to do because this guy hasn't been seen since WrestleMania. Ember Moon versus Mandy Rose, and Ember Moon ends up winning this match in about 2-3 minutes. Hits the Eclipse in the pin from the win out of nowhere. After the match, music hits. Up she goes to the ramp. Deville rushes the ring to check on Rose, and we go to replays as Rune stands tall. We look on from the ramp. Yeah, to anyone who's like, oh, they're starting a lesbian angle with Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville, I think that could be squashed from here on out. It was not even teased at this week, so let's move on from that. John Benjamin's backstage. A female voice asks him who will win the WWE title at Extreme Rules, and Benjamin just walks off. So did him and EC3 have a talk, and then EC3 like give his disease to him that he can't the no talking disease? What was the fucking point of this? This made no sense. Yes, it's great to see Shelton Benjamin finally doing something, but why? And finally, we see Kevin Owens and Dolph Ziggler versus Heavy Machinery for a chance to get to Extreme Rules for a triple threat match at Extreme Rules for the SmackDown Live Tag Team titles. Of course, we get the custom announce table with a bunch of pancakes. By the way, those pancakes are one of three things. A bunch of boxes at your local supermarket. Someone went to McDonald's and ordered a ton of orders of pancakes, or they found their local Gordon Food Services, GFS, or the equivalent of their area, and got them in bulk. Somebody asked online where they get their pancakes from. They are not handmade. They are not made. They are pre-processed, packaged in boxes, or made in bulk in a big bag, and they put them all together. That's where they get them from. The pancakes have got to go. This guy holding the WWE Championship by going, it makes him look like a fucking joke. Like a fucking joke is holding the WWE Championship, and you should not want to look like that to your fans. And people are starting to realize that Kofi Kingston feels like a joke. This match went about 3-4 minutes, and what happened was, before we went to commercial break, this went about 3-4 minutes. Big E and Xavier Woods on commentary decide to jump Rowan and Daniel Bryan, who were on regular commentary. They brawl for a bit. Rowan takes and destroys the New Day announce table. Pancakes everywhere. Puts Woods through the table with an iron claw. Rowan and Bryan talk trash and talk to New Day as we go to commercial break. Back from break, and the bell rings to start the match again. So these four guys are having a match. There's a big brawl outside. No. Stop the match. We got to clean this up out here. What the fuck? The end of the match comes with a miss hit, I believe it was, from Ziggler to Kevin Owens. We hit a compactor, 1, 2, 3, and Heavy Machinery are moving on. They leave. Ziggler approaches Owens in the middle of the ring. Owens grabs Ziggler and delivers a stunner. Owens yells and rants about SmackDown being his show, the KO show. Fans want one more stunner as SmackDown goes off the air. Couple things here. Again, better show than what we saw last night on Monday Night Raw. No Bischoff fingerprints. I'm guaranteeing you, not over this at all. If they are, then he is just Vince McMahon-like. And again, this show, of course, one of the positive things if both these guys take over for Raw and SmackDown is the fact that these shows, if they were to take over and be like head of creative and everything goes through them, and Vince just says, as long as it doesn't violate our agreements with all of our sponsors, these shows are going to feel different by the end of the year. Another thing is that SmackDown has picture-in-picture. Picture up here of the WWE of the match, and then the commercial down here. Why can we not add that to Monday Night Raw? We did not have as much of a headache when it came to SmackDown Live as we did with Monday Night Raw for picture-in-picture. It was absolutely fucking ridiculous last night. All the times that they had to just keep a match like this short. Tonight we had like 3 or 4 matches, I think it was 3 matches. 3 matches that had a commercial break because they had wrestling up here. Can we do that for Monday Night Raw, please? It will solve a big portion of the gripe that people are having with Monday Night Raw now. Especially like when you had Ricochet and AJ Styles go out there, wrestle a few minutes, have a bullshit ending, and then wrestle another 6 minutes for an ending, and then that's that. Picture-in-picture would solve a lot of the problems for WWE on Monday Night Raw. We wouldn't have to see 2 out of 3 falls matches, which, by the way, there were no 2 out of 3 fall matches on this night. Thank fucking goodness. The only match that had to be stopped and restarted was the main event. If it's 1 match a night, that is fine. Picture-in-picture needs to come to Monday Night Raw because that will solve a lot of headaches. SmackDown Live better than Monday Night Raw for sure, but still not a perfect show. The opening segment, I think, was the down. Like last night's segment, the Maria and Mike Kanellis was the lowest I think Monday Night Raw could ever go. Tonight, I think the opening segment was probably the worst segment of SmackDown Live because Shane McMahon just ruins everything. Shane McMahon's got to go. And the turning of Kevin Owens babyface just for the fact that they can makes no sense to me. Obviously, that was teasing. That was teased last week when he abandoned Sami Zayn in that 8-man tag team match. No explanation, none whatsoever. I would like to know why he's a babyface now. Hit that subscribe button, comment down below, like or dislike this video, find me on Twitter and Twitch at The France Club, and I'll see you guys tomorrow for NXT as we find out if Io Shirai will have anything to say after beating down Candice LeRae. So then, my name is France, and I'll see you guys later.